Focus. Hi guys, it's Lisa, and just like going through a lot, and I'm just like, I need to okay, well, let's put it this way. I am just so determined to film this video that if I don't do it right now, like my insides will like burst, and I know I had recently filmed a video on relationships, but that's sort of regarding my own personal relationship status. So now I'm just tempted to reveal the truth behind dating from at least my point of view, because I've discovered so much about myself, about other people, and about the world. And I know you're thinking, okay, you look like some sort of tween who just doesn't know what she's doing. No, I am 17, I'm very mature, and I've been in more relationships than I should have been in. I've also observed my friends' relationships everywhere around me, to sort of help those who have either been in a relationship that just didn't work out, or for those who've just never dated and are interested in what that's like. Let's get into this. Okay, so the first fact is the way that somebody treats you is a representation of how you treat yourself. Just like, take that in for a moment. If you're stuck in that situation where you're dating somebody that makes you feel like crap, that brings you down, then you're the one that's responsible for changing that. And if you're not changing that, then you're not taking care of yourself. Because a relationship will drive you up a wall, it will bring you down a ditch. Like, as amazing as relationships seem, they're very dreadful, and they do cause a lot of harm, but you can easily avoid that harm if you're doing the right things. But the primary thing you have to do is to look after yourself. I've been in a situation where I dated somebody who verbally abused me. That person kept bringing me down non-stop. Like, at first I thought it was just teasing. I thought, okay, it's no big deal. Until I realized that it got more serious, and that I began to question who I am, and then I fell into depression. I fell into depression over somebody that's supposed to take care of me just as I, want to take care of him. That whole relationship just did not bring us justice. I've never felt so much remorse for myself. Like, I've never felt so guilty in my life for putting myself in that situation, for hurting myself so badly. That's not a real relationship. You have to have a relationship with yourself, a very rigid one, before you love another person. Basically, the way that I perceive it is that having a relationship with a person is a test of how much you love yourself and how much respect you have for yourself. Number 2, you have to know exactly what you want in regards to the relationship, as well as focus on major tragic flaws. So obviously, being in a relationship, 2 people have to accept each other as they are. Now, to what extent could you do that without it becoming a serious problem? Well, my example is that I dated my opposite. And do you know how opposites attract? It happens, honestly. Even if you have 2 opposite and it works and they like each other's company, there's obviously something that you have to pay attention to. So for me, personally, I dated somebody who had different spending habits than I did. And that became very problematic. In that type of situation, you have to be wary of the future. Now, there's a difference between planning your future and just thinking about it and considering what you need. It's just double-sided. From his perspective, he thought, okay, well, I need to save. Me personally, I don't save. I feel like I'm still young for that. Yeah, I do save. I put money aside, but not as much as he does. So for him, that was an issue, and for my side, that was an issue, because I thought, oh great, well, I can't put up with this, and I don't want to be with somebody who's going to put me down because of my personality and my, differences. So always watch out for that, because if there's one severe tragic flaw in that person, because everyone comes with flaws, but if it's like one big thing that you can't put up with, then this is not the right relationship for you. 3, it's okay to break up. I know it hurts. I know nobody wants to break up. But in the case that it does happen, you have to hold yourself in your arms and you have to say it's okay. Because essentially it's pain and it's healing. And that pain and healing, it builds you as a person. I don't even cry during breakups anymore. For me, I sort of just accept it. And as hard as it may seem, as weird as it may seem to not have that person in your life anymore, you have to know that relationships, it's all experience and it's all opportunities that will help you become a better person, to love yourself more, and to love other people. So you always have to look at the bright side, as well as you have to realize that that person basically did you a favor. Because if that relationship wasn't meant to be, then you're literally one step closer to finding the right person. And I know some people go, but I can't find anybody like that. Yes, I've found somebody who was so amazing that literally my entire family is still thinking, how on this planet did it not work out? It just didn't. People are like mowing lawns, making all this noise outside. You know what? It's okay. Number 4, don't give up, and also don't search for a relationship. Because after a relationship, we might say, okay, I need a break, or I'm just not going to do it anymore. I always say I'm not going to date, and I end up dating. As for searching for a relationship, don't do that, because you should just let it happen naturally. You can't really force a relationship, because if you're forcing someone to love someone, then it's not meant to be. So in terms of crushes, last time I talked about relationships, I've brought up my embarrassing Valentine's Day story. Go watch that and you'll know exactly what I mean. But if you're crushing on someone, they don't like you back, don't force it. Because if a person doesn't chase after you, that person probably doesn't care as much as you do. Now, in terms of a relationship, I've been in relationships where I just knew this is going nowhere, because then that person starts becoming neglectful, and that's what I find to be the biggest problem. And I'm not just saying like, okay, this person's at work, or this person is just, out with friends, busy, because I understand that, that's perfectly fine. But when that person begins to cut you out of their life and just doesn't talk to you, then that's an issue. I had a relationship where the guy didn't even talk to me. He didn't talk to me. I would ask him questions, I would initiate conversation. He would not talk, and he would make me feel like crap for that very reason. I felt stupid. But I kept trying to force a relationship. I kept saying, let's go out, let's do this, let's do that. We didn't really come to terms with that. Number 5. Complaining is toxic. I've been a victim and a convict of this whole scenario. So what I mean is, openness is essential to a relationship, because you have to understand each other, you have to support each other no matter what you go through. There's a degree to which you can't reach it. So a good metaphor for this is building a half wall. You keep some of you, behind a wall, and the rest of you up here so you can communicate. So I've been in the situation where I was so depressed, I was going through an eating disorder, I was going through a lot of things, but I kept throwing all this negativity on the person, and it eventually brought him down so hard, and I hurt him, and because of that, he had no option but to leave. Am I mad at him for it? Not at all, because I know what I did wrong. Because in the end, there's only so much that a person can bear, and the point of a relationship is that you're keeping each other happy. And it's funny, because then my next relationship, I was with a person that was just like me. So it's like I learned my lesson, and now like the karma got me back, Anyway, this person made me feel like crap. It was to the point that that person swore at me. That person would rant, and like, it's fine to rant, of course, but every time I try to help that person, it was like useless. Like, wouldn't appreciate it, just couldn't stand it. And then I thought, okay, now I understand how that ex felt. Number 6, find somebody who has similar interests, or at least respects what you do and doesn't judge you for it, because a person who likes doing one thing while the other doesn't, you don't really find that connection. Let's say that one person loves travel and the other person just does not. If this person is constantly traveling, but this person is saying, I'm staying here, but I can't live without you. Like, you have to always be with me. If you can't agree on things, that's unhealthy. Because there are ways that some people, for example, can do long distance. Let's say one person can do long distance, the other person can't. That's something that may not work out. Number 7, it's very important to see how a person that you're with treats other people, because that can convey if there's like an actual like love between you or if there isn't. For instance, I dated somebody who made my family feel very, very uncomfortable. He would come over and he wouldn't say a single word. And he's a very like confident guy, like he would talk to anybody. My parents would ask, how are you? And he'd just look away. One time my parents had to leave and they're like, please babysit your sister. We had one job. I'm like, okay, great. So I pulled out the Monopoly. I'm like, let's sit down. Let's, have some fun, whatever. I wanted him to bond with my sister. For me, just personally, if the guy does not get along with my family, then that's like a turn off, and that's just, it's not gonna work. I don't see it happening. This was just awful. But he was trying to make out with me in front of my sister while we were playing Monopoly. I'm like, okay, could this wait? Could we just not do this here? My little sister felt very, very uncomfortable. My sister is 6 years younger. She must have felt really awkward. It's weird. And every time, like, especially like when it was his turn, my sister would be yelling, she's like, roll the dice already, and he would just, no, he'd just be sitting there like, you're so beautiful. He was like a boiled vegetable, okay? Like, it's as though I like had him under some sort of spell. Like, I felt like that entire relationship was built on lust for him. And then I also knew that that person, he'd make fun of other people. He just wasn't very nice to everybody. I realized that that person did not have a relationship with me. And so the very last thing is, don't settle. Ever since I started dating, I was always a committed type. I'm very loyal. I don't ever really want anybody else while I'm in a relationship. But what I mean by this is that if you see that a relationship is going downhill, then you might as well just get yourself out of that situation if you know it's not going to work out. Don't be very narrow-minded to, love and whatever, because if you're not feeling as happy as you want to be, if you're not feeling 100%, then that's not your right person. The only time that you can actually settle is when you know that person makes you happier than anybody else. It really provides opportunities. It provides a broad sense of who's out there, of what you're able to experience. If you're not in a relationship, you don't necessarily have to stick to one crush. You can kind of look at multiple people, and don't flirt with everyone, because that's where you go wrong with it. But talk to everybody, get to know everybody's personalities, see what kind of person you want, just explore. Doesn't work out, then again, you may have to go through a breakup, you have to go through whatever you go through, but you'll find the person eventually. You just have to be open-minded to that fact. Finally learned that once and for all, 2017. Very proud of myself for understanding. Overall, I do believe in relationships. I believe that you're able to have what you want, but it's not going to come easily. From now on, I've sort of made a deal with myself. I said that I will be happy and I'll get what I want as long as I love myself first, as long as I am open-minded, as long as I understand myself, like really ground myself before entering a relationship, that I'll learn about a person, that I won't just jump into something and let myself be hurt. But I personally think that I'm mature enough to understand these things, so I really hope that I help you out in any way. Or if you have any opinions as well that you want to add to the list, please go ahead, comment down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I wish you all the best. I love you all. A lot of people love you, and if not a lot of people, then somebody loves you. Somebody's worth your time, and you're worth theirs. So I really hope it works out for you. Lots of love and big hugs. I'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys.